We've read and heard various postmortems from leftist journalists over the last 3 weeks about why the Democrat Party lost so badly during the 2024 election. Vast majority of these postmortems are comical. It's because America's racist, America's sexist, America's bigoted. Some of them have actually been pretty spot on. The ones that are highlighting the extreme wokeness of the Democrat Party, they are correct. I would say a majority of Americans, maybe not a vast majority, but a good majority of Americans have just become so sick of it. Even Democrats are sick of the radical wokeness. They might be like, yeah, like we believe in pro-choice, we believe in various other things, but we don't think that you need to force men to be in women's bathrooms. We don't think that you have to pander to and cater to the LGBTQIA plus supremacy agenda. We don't think that you have to. I mean, the extreme wokeness of the Democrat Party, that was obviously a huge part of it. But there is one other major reason that I've heard some on the right talk about. I haven't heard anybody on the left until, oddly enough, this weekend, we saw one leftist journalist nail it. And it's I was shocked when I saw that it was actually Abby Phillips, somebody I vehemently disagree with on pretty much everything. I could count on zero hands the number of times I've agreed with her, at least in the past. Now I have to add a hand in there, and I got to say she got one right. According to an article from Breitbart, CNN's Abby Phillip says Democrats have a bigger problem than wokeness. And according to the article, she says that it's because they have catered to the elite class for far too long. Phillips issued her diagnosis of the Democrat Party's issues when speaking at the Institute of Politics for the Harvard Kennedy School of Business last week. And there's a quote from Phillips. Democrats are in that place now where they have to break out of it, and I think it is a real problem. It's not as simple as wokeness or whatever. It's about people who are being incentivized to think about issues in a particular way. Okay. Well, that definitely caught my attention, so I read further. Later, she says, I have observed that elites increasingly talk only to each other. True. And come to believe that because there is consensus among them, that consensus is shared broadly, and are not enough voices that are confident enough to disagree and to present alternatives. And we as a society need to find better ways to uplift divergent voices, otherwise we will become victims of groupthink. There needs to be more courage among people to speak out and to voice divergent opinions. Otherwise, I think it's a real issue, and it's not just the Ivy League. I think it's elitism in general. And she didn't. When I say she nailed it, she missed it by a little bit, but not her mentality. She missed the conclusion. Yeah, her conclusion is there needs to be more divergent thoughts amongst the left. And within these groupthink portals, these echo chambers, the elites have to start listening to other people who are going to say, hey, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. And that is quite true. But it's worse than that. And where she missed is that it's not that they don't, their agreement on the solutions is wrong. That's true. That is part of it. But it really is that they don't understand the problems, especially when you see, and we saw it throughout the campaign. We saw people go out there, we saw Kamala Harris herself do it a couple of times. We saw Tim Walz. Let's not count him. Pretty much everything he said was wrong. But we saw a lot of the proxies, a lot of the surrogates for the Kamala Harris campaign, as well as a lot of Democrat politicians themselves, completely miss it when it came to understanding the core problems. People were sick and tired of paying so much. And you had far too many of them saying, oh, the economy's not so bad. Hey, actually, this is the best economy in a long time. You guys just, you little people are just too ignorant to understand it. And then you had these celebrities, especially, it was always very damaging, extremely damaging, when you had celebrities, and especially Hollywood stars, going out there and saying, look, this economy is great. I don't know what everybody else is talking about, but this economy is fantastic. And when you had like Joe Scarborough, I think it was after the election when he said it, but this sentiment was shared throughout the campaign, was that he couldn't believe it. He's like, oh my gosh, you're telling me eggs are $5? And it's like, no, actually they're like $8. He's like, what? That's crazy. He had no idea, of course, because he is amongst the elitists. The problem with the Democrat Party isn't just the wokeness. And it's definitely not just the delusion, even though both of those play a large role in everything. The problem with the Democrat Party is that the people that are in charge, the people that are actually out there trying to set policies, trying to set messaging, These people are oblivious to the actual problems shared by tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, of American citizens, and that's why they lost. Be sure to follow my work everywhere that I work by going to jdrucker.com/find, Find. jdrucker.com/find. You'll find my socials, my shows, my Substacks, the works.